In this video, we'll perform a repeated measures analysis using a mixed model. I'm using the animals example dataset available in the sample data directory. This example has 6 animal subjects randomly selected from 2 species. The miles traveled by each animal were measured over time. Since the data is in tall or stacked format, a mixed model can be used directly. If your data were previously in split form or wide form, we would need to stack the data before performing a mixed model analysis. To perform the repeated measures analysis using a mixed model, we'll go to Analyze and select Fit Model. First, I'll specify miles as my y variable. JMP will default to standard least squares, which will be appropriate once we designate species as a random effect. In JMP Pro, we can also use the mixed model platform to perform the mixed model analysis. To define my model, I'll add model effects to the model effects section. In this case, I'll want to start with the full factorial of my 2 factors, species and season. I'll use the macro option and select full factorial. Next, we'll want to designate our subject as a factor in the model. In mixed effects models, subjects are known as random effects. To designate subject as random, I'll click the triangle next to attributes and select random effect. Notice that JMP will immediately change our method over to restricted maximum likelihood estimation. One additional property needs to be specified because subjects are technically nested inside of species. That is, each of our subjects only belongs to one category of species. To define subject as nested, we'll select species on the left with subject and random selected on the right and click Nest. When I click Run, JMP will produce the summary of fit table, parameter estimates, and REML variance components estimates for our random effects. In this case, we can see the variance component associated with our subjects is 0.76, accounting for about 38.2% of the variation in our data. Our fixed effects table will show us the results of the test for our fixed factors. In this case, the 2 main effects for species and season and the interaction of species and season. Here, we can see a statistically significant effect for species on miles traveled and for season on miles traveled, but no evidence that there's an interaction between species and season. To obtain standard least squares plots, we'll navigate to the top and click the red triangles next to one of our effect sources. If I click the red triangle next to species, I can request the least squares means plot showing the average effect averaging over other variables in the model. We can repeat this procedure for our other effect sources and interpret the marginal effects for each of our factors. In addition, under the red triangle for the species by season interaction, we can request a least squares means plot showing us the differences by season broken apart by species. If we would prefer our plot in the other direction, with seasons as different lines and species as points on the x-axis, we can turn off the least squares means plot, hold down the Shift key, and reselect least squares means. This will tell JMP to replot the data with the axes switched.